This video clarifies the difference between what you're supposed to be doing in your thinking on the self-assessment checklist and the actual design elements. So you are in thinking mode right now in the class. You're thinking about your learning environment. You're not yet designing. That'll be when you have the full system. But the real key is, how do you capture those really important thoughts now so that when you start designing later on, you have those key thoughts? Well, that's where the design elements kick in. So you're thinking about a whole lot in the course, not just Dr. Sprick material, but managing misbehavior, and we'll get into small groups and technologies and everything. But for now, you're focused on Dr. Sprick material. We're working through grading, and soon you're going to be thinking a lot about organizing your classroom. Well, as you read any of his chapters, at the end there's a self-assessment checklist. So you're doing two levels of thinking as you read. You're thinking about questions that you have, and then you know that you're supposed to be making notes of those. And then on the self-assessment checklist, you are actually jotting down any thoughts you have, key thoughts about your own classroom. And then you'll see a revision in the instructions for the chapter processing, where after you finish the chapter and you've recorded your thoughts in the chapter and on the self-assessment checklist, then you step back and you consider design. Out of all of those thoughts that you've had in the chapter, what design decisions do you feel like you have to make when you build your system? So what will you design for? And there, I don't think you want to have a list of 30 design elements. You can't build a system that big with 30 design elements from every single chapter. That's why I'm going to ask you to report to me your 1 to 3 top design elements. And then I'm really going to encourage you, I may say design notebook somewhere in here. I'm not going to have you guys keep a design notebook, but I'm going to encourage you to hang on to these design elements. Sure, they'll be in the assignments you turn in if you ever need to go back to them. But when you build your full system later on, when you move from thinking to actual designing, that's when you're going to want these design elements handy, because we may be at chapter 6 or chapter 7 or chapter 8, but you still got to think about what you decided to design for with organization later on. Hope all that makes sense. Reply back if you have questions.